Get it out, cause get it out.
Daryl, how you doing? Daryl's first. Yep. Carlo, what's up, y'all? Pops, hello, Carlo. Carlo said, "Sup, Daryl." Daryl said, "Big." Let's see. Who we got here? Raccoon said, "Hi, hello." Daryl said, "How's Randy today? Little sore. He had to. He was been at the shop all day. He had to go home. Madison had a little trouble at a Tahoe, so he was going home to see if he could help her." Jane said, "Hey, Pops, hello, Jane." But he kind of wore himself out today, so he's pretty tired. Said he didn't sleep good last night. I bet he does tonight, though. Jane says, "Hi, Daryl." Carlos says, "Hello, Jane." Lotus says, hello. Jane says, "Hi, Carlo." Daryl said, "Lotus." Carlos said, "Sup, Lotus?" Whoop. Daryl said, "To be expected, yes." Lotus said, "Sup, Carlo, Jane, and Daryl." Jane said, "How's his feet? Still hurting?" I think he's so sore or tired. Let's say tired. It said his feet still hurt, but I think he's tired more than everything. Anything. He's not used to being tired like that, so it pretty wore him out. Jane said, "Hey, Lotus." Daryl said, "I'm going to have a members video tomorrow evening." Okay, dokie. Sounds good. Carlos says, "I likes and commented to your BK1 vid, Lotus." Jane said, "Carlo, have you had your coffee?" I said, "Thanks, Carlo." Jeff said, "What race are you? What race?" I like foot race. I like NASCAR race. I don't really get into a lot of it, but it's kind of one of them. Lotus said alien. That's right. Jane said, "Hi, Jeff." Lotus says, "From the planet Corbin." Tanzania said, "Guess who is back?" I know who that is. Jane said, "Daytona 500 race." There you go. Dave said 6'7". Jeff says, "You're getting vaporized." Nope. When I get it, I got my hat right here beside of me. Let's see. Jane says, "Hi, Tanzania." Carlos said, "No worries. Lotus." Jonathan said, you need prank calls to your mom and your dad." No, let's don't do that. Lotus said, "Holy Pop, he pronounced it right." What did I do to pronounce right? Carlos said, "Yes, Jane, had my coffee." Jane said, "Good luck with the prank calls to my mom and dad." And mine too. Let's see. Daryl said, second like, all right. Landon says, are you Dixon my ass? Oh, man, that's not funny at all. I don't think I would keep doing that. Let's see. Lotus said, how are you, Randy? I'm doing fine, man. Nickel Pony said, hey, guys, going to watch a little Texas high school playoff football. Y'all be good. Have a great night. Thank you, Nickel Pony, for stopping in. Yeah, I hope your team wins there, buddy. Enjoy. Jane says, did you have your shower, Carlo? Duh. Landon's Skullface. Jonathan said, how day till Thanksgiving is? Carlos says, no, not yet. Jane. Carl says, are you a veteran? If so, what branch? I'm not a veteran. I never served. Kitty said, hey. Tendenizia says, how come you aren't wearing your usual jersey? Well, this is one that Mike give me, and still a never done project shirt, but Mike give me this one right here, and I put it on today, so I like it. It's still my orange, it's just a little different color orange. Jane says, take care, Nick. Lotus says, see, if I was a mod, I would have deleted before you read it. Yeah, but that's all right. I'd really just soon let him on there. I need to watch it myself. He come back, give me another one. Let's see. Boggy said, yo, hey, Boggy. Let's see. Carlos said, be right back. Got to poop. Raccoon said, hi. Lotus said, what up, Boggy? Matthew said, hi, Randy. Jane said, hi, Carl. Kitty, Lotus. Boggy sick. Boggy says nothing else is new. Kitty says, hey, Jane. Jonathan says, how many days till Thanksgiving is? Well, 21, I think 6 days. I think that's what it is. Lotus said, Boggy, I put a vid for you today. Kitty said, hey, Boggy. Jane said, Boggy. And Jane said, cat. Daryl said, Boggy, Kitty. Tendenizia said, hi, Jane. Boggy says, hey, people. Jane says, hi, Matthew. Tendenizia says, hey, Boggy, Kitty, Mac. Matthew said, hi, Jane. And Daryl says, Matt. Kitty says, Tendenizia. Boggy said, what, Lotus? Carl says, hi, Jane. Matthew said, Daryl. Lotus said, what's up, Matt? They let you free from the hospital yet? Tendenizia said, is that a new trend on the internet with the 6-7 thing? I don't get it. Yeah, it's a new trend, and I think it means absolutely nothing from what I understand. That's what now the people's trying to come out and says it means something, but I think it originally just actually was stupid, and everybody jumped on it, so whatever. Jonathan said, how many days till Christmas Eve and Christmas Day? Oh, man, let's see. 25. I don't know, 27, 28, something like that. Lotus says, I put a ride along vid in the Genesis on the channel. Cool, I'll check that out. Kitty says, how are you, Pop? I'm doing good, a little tired, but I'm okay. Didn't get near as what I wanted done today, but we got a little bit done. Matthew says, hey, they did, but get this, I got out and went racing again and bent a pin, so now I'm back in the hospital. Good Lord, Matthew. Daryl said, I saw it, Lotus, but I didn't get to watch yet. Diagram says, want to do dig measured contest? No. Bobby says, the Genesis isn't a bad car. It's pretty cool and get at getting up going. Tendenese says, do you guys in America eat rabbits? Yeah, people do. I don't. I did when I was young. I don't now, but yes, people go rabbit hunting and eat them. John says, how many days till winter is? I don't know. I don't know when the official date is. December or something, but I really don't know. Jane said, Matthew, when are you going to figure it out? Daryl said, Jonathan, why are you trolling? Purdue said, NASCAR American, get a job. Pull your straps up, bud. I got a job. Matter of fact, got 2 or 3 of them. How many jobs you got? Matthew said, figure what out? Lotus says, it's no slouch. Average says, rabbit hunting is definitely a young man's game. Lotus says, makes good turbo noise too. Buggy says, amen to that. Tandanisia said, why is so many vulgar languages on the comments? People, please respect everyone. I am from Tanzania and the language is unacceptable. We got a bunch of trolls in there tonight trying to be stupid. So if everybody will ignore them, they'll go away in a minute. They like to just get people upset. Avery says, unless you use a snare trap. Guy says, you say you never had a job and that you were half, it wasn't a problem. I didn't say that. I don't know what. Purdue says, I got more jobs than you have hair. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I don't think you'd really, you should be one telling somebody to get a job. Boggy said, too many jobs. Jane said, Tanzania, where are the many come in and troll? Well, Purdue, I hate that you feel that way, but anyway, Jonathan said shut up, and I don't know why he would say that. He comes in and says stupid stuff, but don't want nobody else to, but whatever. Carlos says, I'm back, y'all. Super says, Jesus loves you, bro. Well, thank you. He loves you, too. Let's see. Now Jonathan's hate. Matthew said, figure what out, Jane? Flames is being stupid now. Kitty says, hey, Carlo, let me get down here with somebody that matters. Tanzania says, OLAF. Why? Because I'm Tanzania. Yeah, there you go. Purdue said, yes, exactly. I don't understand. What's the problem? Let's figure out what the problem is there, Purdue. You come into the live here, and everything seems to be all right, treated with respect. What seems to be the problem? Hello, Kitty. Said Carlo. Kitty, he said, sweetheart. Sorry, I missed it. I was looking at all this other mess. Benny says, are you a tattoo artist? No, I have no tattoos. Tanzania says, shame on you. Boggy says, I bet he won't be saying that if it was showed up in the front lawn. That's right. Purdue, you're about half crazy. You know that? Daryl says, immature. Yep. Boggy says, and again, anyone would shit their pants if I showed up because I'm not in the mood to play with people. Let's see. It's saying that if there was an American, he would respect me. Since I'm Tanzanian, he doesn't respect for me. Man, don't worry about him. Hey, Ian, hey man, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Thank you, Ian. I do appreciate it. Man, you're awful generous. I do appreciate it. Every little bit helps. Dino said, guess who's back, my friend? Welcome back, Dino. Lotus said, where they all know they can get some work up. See, Jane said, hey, Ian. Benny says, do you live in Canada? No, North Carolina in America. Ian says, hi, Jane. Jane says, hi, Benny. Daryl says, I got rid of the negative jerk. Jane says, hi, Dino. Lotus said, Bobby, can you show here and there will be no poops? Let's see. Tendinese says, hi, Benny. Boggy says, hey, Jane, end my misery, please. Matthew says, how are you, Daryl? Henry, see, Avery, no, they got a V in it. Ari, Blitz, how's that? My sympathy. Sorry, I'm probably messed your name up. I am so sorry. Tendinese said, is North Carolina on the West Coast? Hell, I don't know. West Coast, East Coast covers. Let's see. Lowell Buggy, sorry. Drink lots of water. Take Tylenol. Carlos says, hey, Tanzania. Buggy says, hell no. I don't like my north, south, east, and west crap. Let's see. Buggy said, no medicine. Daryl said, Maddie. Maddie said, east. There you go. East. James said, North Carolina's on the East Coast. I don't know that mess. Madison said, hey, Daryl Lotus, hey, Madison, N done give $4.99. Back to scrolling before dinner. Hope you have a good night. Until next time, thank you, N. I do appreciate it, man. Let's see. Carlos said, hello, Madison. Matthew says, yeah, I should get Daryl to race next season. Madison said, hey, Lotus. James said, take care, Ian. Experiment film. What's up, dude? How you doing? 6221. Kitty said, hey, Madison. James said, hey, hi, Maddie. Madison said, Carlo. Tandanija says, hi, Kitty. Snow says, are you a Muslim? Do I? No, I'm not. American. Daryl said, Ian is a generous person. That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's the third live. He's come in, thrown a little money. I like him. Ian says, you too, Jane. I like his support. Said, Madison said, hey, Kitty, Boggy Lotus, that's because you and I are buddies. We probably commit to a felony or two. Madison said, hey, Jane. Lotus said, no, Matthew, we don't need Daryl busted up. He is good and hurting himself already. Yes. Daryl said, demo derby race? Yeah, I don't think so. Carlos said, be right back, coffee time. Daryl said, burnouts and drag racing only for me. I hope we get to do some of that this coming up year. I'd like to get back on track. Lotus said, all right, we're going straight to felonies. Tanzania said, is summer approaching you? Here winter, but we don't have winter because it's tropical. No, ours is coming into winter. We just left our summer. We're coming into winter. It should be fall, but we're probably just going to jump straight into the cold weather. Matthew said, oh, come on, Daryl, it's fun. Buggy says, I meant speeding is fun. Daryl said, nope, gave that up back in the 80s. I don't even go watch those, Matt. Even if I thought about it, as much as Matt been hurt lately, I don't think I want to mess with it. Lotus said, no. LBL love speeding is a felony in Ohio. Only a ticket or they can take your license. Jane says, I have a confession. I'm about ready to bust something up. I need one of those rooms where you can walk in and with a sledgehammer. Uh-oh. That's not good. Think positive, Jane. Matthew says, I am the one that crashed my personal car into the tree because I couldn't do a demo derby. That's not good. Lotus says, and your car, if they think you racing? Jane said, Matthew, that's fun about being in the hospital all the time. What's fun about being in the hospital all the time? Tanzania says so. It's in Australia who are going into summer. I always thought USA is same. No, Australia is going into their summer. It's pretty and hot there now. We're going into cold. Let's see. Matthew said nothing is fun about the hospital, Jane. Well, you said if where am I saying if? If they can catch me. There's where it is. Trying to read too fast. Buggy says, and if I've talked about this to an ex-cop, the cops' cars ain't catching me. Daryl said, cops here will wreck you, Buggy. Lotus says, hope you can outrun a twin-turbo Hurricane. Lotus says, Dayton, don't play. Daryl says, they wait for the opportunity, Buggy. Yeah, you might get lucky, but I don't think I want to be running too much from them. This damn chair, let's see. Jane! Tanzania said Australia is the exact opposite of the United States for our weather. Tanzania says, thanks, Lotus, for your courage towards me and jumping for me. Buggy says, you don't need to run them, just outsmart them. After Hours says, give you $10 for that eagle picture. No, thank you. James said, neither does Sydney. They chased a car last week and driver was killed. Tanzania said, right, because Australia is on the west of Tanzania. Daryl said, Boggy, just our little town has so many cops as Dayton North. Just our little town has as many cops as Dayton North. Matthew said, Daryl, sounds like the kind of cops I would want. Lotus said, Lowell, that part isn't hard, but Daryl isn't playing. They love effing up cars. Matthew said, Lotus, I won't hit my teammates might. Buggy says, sounds like it's going to be a fun night and a new paint job. Tanzania says, do you watch Formula One? No, I don't watch much racing at all. I mean, now, I put NASCAR on for Chester behind us, but we don't watch much racing and stuff like that. Lotus says, probably. Daryl says, they seized a Ferrari a few years ago just to put lights on it. Zoe said, hey, how's it across the pond from Scotland? It is good. It was a nice day. I've been in short sleeves all day. James said, Matthew, is that how Zealand got hurt? One of your teammates hit her? Question mark. Lotus said, they do race over on Gettysburg. Matthew said, oh man. It was 3 months of work for 3 hours of fun. Jane said, hi, Zoe. Daryl said, then it went in the crusher after the parade. Matthew said, sometimes. Lotus, Tanzania said, do you prefer horse racing or car racing? In Tanzania, we bet our houses on horses to win. I've been to a horse race when we went up to Kentucky. I've never bet on or nothing like that, but if I'm going to do any kind of racing or watching, it's probably going to be car racing. I mean, like I said, I've never really got into horse racing. I was in Kentucky and the guys wanted to go to the track and we went to the track. It's pretty interesting, but that was the only time I ever went. Buggy said, what's the top competition speed and time? Zoe said, hey, Jane, Slowman said, donate $4 for the super chat. Throw it in there. I appreciate it. Matthew said, car racing. Lotus says he ain't playing Ohio, snatches supercars, soups it up and puts lights on them it's a cop car now. I've seen the Lambo with a Porsche pulled over. Adam said, what up, y'all? Hello, Adam. Daryl said, car racing. Jane said, hi, Adam. Daryl, don't be starting that slumblum. Lotus. Jane says, Adam. Daryl said, Adam. Adam said, Daryl and Boggy. Lotus said, what's up, Grease? Tennessee says, Jockey is basketball player, enjoys horse racing too. Cool. I don't know who that is, but I don't get into basketball players either, but a lot of people do. There's a lot of people that really get into horse racing. Adam says, Matthew. Boggy says, that didn't answer the question. Let's see, Boggy says, yo, Adam. Matthew said, and Jane, yeah, my brother couldn't race, so she raced for him, and the other team hit her. Donkey said, well, I don't know if you're the same one, but I sold a bag of them one time here. Let's see, Lotus said, fast as F. Boggy says, so do you really know? Matthew said, Adam. Daryl said, he has sold them here before. Actually auctioned it off. Dropped a super chat to see if you win. There you go, Daryl. Still waiting on the address, but hey, what was it? $10, I believe? $5 or $10. That was funny. Lotus says, I do have a buddy runs with him. I know his car runs sevens on the track. Adam says, we were doing work at Anderson, whatever his name, house recently. Cool. Tannanese says, hi, I enjoy speaking with you because I practice my English speaking skills. Do you think my English is good? Looks good to me. You see, I have a hard enough time myself, but look like you're doing good to me. I read it pretty good. I read it real good. Some of yours I read better than I do others, so I think you're doing fine. Boggy said, Lotus said, 87 money with a lot of spray. Daryl said, Big we'll put something else in that bag for big enough money donation. There you go. Bruce says, you're pretty cute. Well, thank you, Bruce. Adam said, wild thing for the calves. Man, all these trolls coming in here, you'd think they'd hit the like button before they got kicked out. Tennessee just said, thanks, I appreciate it. I have to admit, English is pretty easy compared to Tanzania language, and especially tribal language we have. I think it's wild that people learn other languages. When I say I wished I knew it, I'm lazy when it comes to trying to figure stuff out. But I would love to know other languages. Which then again, I really like to have one of those earpieces that it translates it for me. That's about as lazy as I get on it. I'd like to have those. I was telling Randy today, I was watching these clips where these people were dancing. I would love, it's like the top of the body stays still, but the bottom, the feet and everything's moving around. I love that. I'd love to know how to do it. Way too damn lazy to learn it, though. Tanzania said, which language would you like to speak? It doesn't matter to me. I think it's wild when I talk to people that know different languages. I think it's cool. Adam said, Tanzania, where are you from? He's from Tanzania, Adam. Jane said, oh man, it is in Tanzania that some of the tribes speak with tongue clicks, ? Tanzania says, hi George, I'm from Tanzania. Green Spot said, cool. Rewinds, Airsoft. Oh, Adam got him. Oh, Lord. To some of the things y'all come up with and the name of Rewinds and Airsoft, and you come up with that. Wow. Brilliant. Adam said, welcome. Tandanese said, yes, there are some tribes, but mostly they are from Congo and Togo. See, Matt says, what's up, Unc? How you doing? Tandanese, and I think Sundan too. Rewind said, yep. Me. Boy, I tell you, let me click on here to see what kind of channel we got. I see why we got it. Yeah. I probably should be nice. He ain't but about 6. That's fine, Rewinds. I understand. At a young age, I said crazy stuff too. Anyway, Daryl says, I'll be back. I have to go wash the Ford off of me. Okay, Daryl. Adam laughed. Jane said, okay, thanks. I would like to learn Spanish. We have many people from Mexico, and I would love to understand what they were saying. Me too, Jane, but like I said, I'd like to have one of those earpieces that just translate it for me. Rewind. Man, what a way. Good gosh. Adam said, got to scrub hard. Daryl. Boggy said, Tandanese said, Spanish is easy language. You should learn it quickly in less than 24 hours. "30 years old and still plays with those kind of games." And yeah, you are exactly that. Probably in your mama's basement. But hey, to each his own. Adam said Latin will translate a lot of languages. Latin. Tandanese says, can you ban Buggy? I think he's very disrespectful. Buggy's pretty cool. He's just high strung. I'm not going to do it. I like old Buggy. He's funny. Matt says, what's your current project, boss? We got several. Old cars, old trucks, burnout cars. Working on a bathroom right now. I did an exhaust today. I put on a set of tires today. Man, we do everything. Tandanese said 24 months, not hours, ha. Lotus said, nope. Boggy says, yeah, go for it, I dare you. Nah, we like old Boggy. We're going to keep him around. Let's see, the Tandanese said 24 months. No, that's the reason I be careful on my blue people, because see, people be in there doing that stuff. We don't need to, especially Boggy been coming in a pretty good while. We get along with Boggy pretty good. Lotus said, Boggy the homie. Adam says, a guy playing those games needs to stay away from schools. Yes. Jane said, Tandanese, I'm old. It's harder to learn. Yes, it is, Jane. Adam said, Boggy is good people. We like to pick on each other here, on here. Tandanese says, sorry, Boggy, I thought you were an intruder. No, intruder. No. Boggy will stand up for anybody in here. Don't cross the people in here, because Boggy will be there for them. Daniel said, John's 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whatsoever believeth in him should not perish, but shall have everlasting life. Thank you, Daniel. Daniel, I read it and I appreciate it. But remember, we don't do politics or religion in here. We don't want to offend anybody. It's not that we're against it. It's just, we want to make sure everybody understands they have their own freedom there. Lotus said, no, Boggy like family. Yep. Boggy says, high strung, huh? I didn't even know how that was meant. That's meant. Means. Oh, we think you're kind of high strung. We like it. Let's see. Jane said, wide open, I guess I should say. Jane said, then it is that we try to allow everyone the opportunity to show respect. Then it gets to the point that they won't respect, then we get rid of them. Yeah, everybody, we try to let it go and try to talk. We've had a couple people in here that was showing some disrespect, and they ended up being pretty cool. Some people just come in and try to stir up crap. Then when we realize what we're trying to do here, sometimes they hang around and talk. So, we're really trying to have a good thing here. I hate that the trolls keep coming in and people's got to study on trying to delete the trolls. I kind of like for everybody to enjoy the live and not have to worry about people. But crazy people will be crazy people, I guess. Adam said, Boggy is a family we don't talk about. Jane said, Law, Adam. Tennessee said, thanks, James. Hope you consider me respectful. Jane said, Tennessee, yes, thank you. Lotus said, Boggy, going to give me a Supra one day. Tennessee said, thanks, greetings from Tanzania. I don't know why in the world, I don't know what it is today, but I'm having a hard time focusing on these words. Jane said, if trolls came in and were just funny, then we welcome them. Yeah. It's until they start saying stupid stuff or repetitive stuff or nasty stuff. We try to respect it, let it go. I don't know if when you delete it, it takes away the comment or counts or not. I don't know. But we try to respect others until they've pushed it too far. When you push it too far with me, it's pretty well the end of it. Starboy says, love you all. Thank you, Starboy, sorry. And I don't know what all those symbols mean, but thank you. Jane said, hi, Starboy. Boggy says, I'm usually nicer, but ask anyone. I've got a problem with being sick. It cuts my patience from 3 to 0. Tennessee said, is today Friday for U.S. or Saturday? Friday. It's Friday night. Starboy said, hello. American said, hello. Adam said, Friday. Jane said, hi, American. American sent thumbs up for 10 joules. Thank you. Then did combine the times 2 thumbs up for 10 joules. Thank you. Lotus said, I think 3 is generous, Boggy. Starboy says, I'm a knight and I'm giving the loves to y'all. Well, thank you. Boggy says, you're right. 3 is very generous. Tennessee says, do you know anything about Europe? I know nothing about it. Paul says, hey, brother, good to see you today. Good to see you too, Paul. Thank you for stopping in. Jane said, hey, Paul, welcome. Starboy said, yes, Europe is about to unite. Lotus says, I think it's more like 5 to negative 15, 0.5 to negative 15. Tennessee says, hi, Paul, welcome to the channel. Adam says, I know the tariff I paid on parts for Europe cost $80. Jane said, Lord, yep, Lotus, Paul, hey, Jane. Tennessee said, yes, for the U.S. to even been buying from U.S. Yes. For us to even been buying from U.S. Boggy says, their cars suck. That about it for me on Europe that I know. Paul said, Europe is a very nice in the 93 when I was there. Europe was very nice in 93 when Paul was there. I'd like to go see it, but that's about it. Just to say I was there. Jane said, I had tariffs for meds from Canada. Oh, what's up? Sorry, Naples. We don't have a way to help you with food. Adam said 80 equals to 40%. That's crazy. Tananese said, which part of Europe? I think Japanese cars are the most economical. Carlos says, I'm back, y'all. I had a shower. Paul said, I was in the Mediterranean. Lotus said, stop buying TMU parts. You think Greece? Supposed to be American made. Adam said, parts came from the UK. Naples, it looks like to me you just wanting some money or something, aren't you? You just want some help with something, some way around it. Let's see, Tananita says, where in the Mediterranean? Jane said, Paul, I would like to see the Mediterranean. Naples said, yes. Yeah, we all would like to have a little bit extra money. Go down there and hit that dollar sign and send me about $5 or $10. Hey, I tell you what, just send me $1.99. Adam said, Dynamics, ITB, parts, Lotus. Jane said, Naples, we can't help. Lotus said, how much longer you think it'd run, Greece? Paul said, I was a performer on a cruise line playing jazz, Italy, France. Cool. Adam said, send me 100, I'll send you 200, I swear on it. You first, Adam. Tananese says, did you go to Malta? Adam says, still shooting for December 1st. Oh, still shooting for December 1st. Cool, I can't wait to see it. Boggy said, you shouldn't have gotten caught. Paul sucks to suck. Tandanita said, or Cyprus. Lotus says, can't wait to hear it with the ITBs. Jay said, Paul, that's awesome. What instrument? Paul said, Sicily. Paul says, I'm a multi-mistralist, all kinds, different ones. Tananese says, wow, Paul, you must have ate some nice canneroles. Man. Adam said, Boggy, that's what Boggy, was that a stroke? Adam said, cool, Paul. Brent, what's up, guys? Hello, Brent, how you doing? Tananese said, hi, Brent. Paul says, never forgot the cannonolias. I don't know what that is. Y'all finding some god-awful names of words put out there. Y'all trying to stump me up. Boggy says, no, I read that ring. I saw Parole, not patrol. Petrol. Jane said, sub, Paul, I'll check it later. Troy, said Jane. There's Troy. Adam says, cannoli. Cannoli. Is that it? Cannoli. Tananisia says, in Indonesia we eat snails similar to what the French do. Oh man, nasty. I don't think I could eat a snail. Ooh. Paul says, cannoli is a sweet Italian pastry. Jane said, cannoli. 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 Mike said, hello everyone. Mike, I am glad you got it for Christmas. Kind of hurts my feelings though, kind of messes up my Christmas present. Jane said, hi, Troy. Troy says, hey, Jane, baby. Lotus said, cannolis are delicious and terrible for you. You know they're good then. Jane said, cannolis is filled with sweet cream. Paul says, thank you, Miss Jane, with a heart with hand. Cannolis said, Lotus, cannolis actually are filled with radical. Well, I don't know what that is. Troy, Jane is my favorite. Yeah, she's something else. We like Jane. Adam says, no, then they're not bad for you. Ask Maria. Carlos says, no, they are filled with custard, Jane. Dino says, I'm back. Jane said, Ricola. Ricola. Let's see. Let's see. I know it's not right, Jane. I just made a joke. Lotus says, I'll eat anything filled with. See, they're not. They're filled with custard, but. Paul said, I'm just glad that we all made the wake up list today. We are here being kind to one another as we should. Me too, Paul. Adam said they are filled with greatness. Carlos says, I'm Italian. I think I would know. James said, Tananisia, I think you can get many different things in them. Some are chocolate. Rumple says, hello, Pops. What's the topic of discussion today, or who we bashing? Well, right now, the topic is some type of sweet food that I'm not 100% sure what is. We can't quite pin down what's inside of it, but we know it's good and it's not good for you, and different people have different things, but you know us, we're all over the spectrum here. Rumple says, Jane, hello. Adam says, Rumple. Rumple says, big boys. Adam said, big. Rumple says, grease spot, hello. Tananisia says, no, not with chocolate. It's too heavy with cocoa. Has to be something like Ricola. Ricola. No, that's probably wrong, but. Carlos said, what's up, Rumple? Lotus said, there it is, Ricola. Jane said, hi, Rumple. Rumple says, hello, Lotus. Adam says, can we get them filled with ice cream? Hey, I'm in for that. See, Jane said, yummy, Adam. That sounds yum, Adam. That sounds yummy. Mike said, I have No Name National Video premiere tonight at 9 Central Standard Time. If anyone would like to watch, all right, Mike. Let's see. Tananisia said, yes, in winter. In summer, the melt quick. Rumple said, long wrench, hello. Jane said, hi, Mike. Adam says, I'm fine group of add people rumple. I am having a hell of a time tonight. Carlos said, what's up, Adam? Jane said, Ricola, Pops. It's T, not an L. Ricotta? Mike said, I'll just leave it alone. Y'all know what y'all talking about. Mike says, Rumple. Rumple says, I like 5 stars. It's a Cadbury chocolate bar and gems. It's like M&M's. Adam said, what's up, Big? Said, cheese. Jane says, Cadbury is so much better than M&M's. Tandanija says, when can I call you and speak to you while on the program? I feel like that would be a great accomplishment for us. Tandanija's calling someone in the U.S. while streaming on YouTube. I don't know. I mean, it'd have to be a time I'm not using that phone, because I actually use the shop phone to go live. Maybe sometime I can switch over and use the other phone, and we can try that. I don't know how that would work. Rumble said, ADD, attention deficit disorder, Pops. Oh, I thought we was talking about something else. My bad. Lotus said, is the cheesy inside of lasagna? It's the cheese inside of lasagna. Okay. Buggy said, sorry. Tandanija said, do you have a landline? No, we don't have a landline in there. Everything's mobile. Rumple said, EU or UK chocolates are good, not too sweet. It has a pleasant, bitter compound to it. Carlos said, glad, Pops. Buggy said, hello to the people I miss. My kid woke up and needed water. Lotus said, baked manicotti. God almighty. Tandanija said, we still use landline in Tandanija. It is very cheap and easy to use. We still got them, but we don't hardly, I couldn't tell you the last time I used my landline at home. We just, everybody's really got cells, but we do still have landlines. Rumble said, people still have landlines. I want one with rotary phone. Yeah, I still got my grandma's rotary phone with the bell on one end. It's pretty cool. John says, do you know these? No, I don't know. Matthew says, I'm back. Adam said, so how we have Kenya filled with custard, ice cream, cheese, and chocolate. Rumble says, I think Lotus is hungry. In fact, I'm getting hungry too. Yes. Lotus said, what else can we throw in there, Adam? Yeah. See, I knew you was doing something stupid, John. I just didn't really know where you were going with it, but there's always one bad apple. I appreciate you being the bad apple and showing your stuff out there. Tandanija ain't filled with custard. You remix it up with something else. Lotus says, I am kinda. Lotus says, do you have spaghetti to make? I do have spaghetti to make. Blah. Adam said people love to show their intelligence on this channel. I know they really put it out there, show just how Einsteinics they are. Tanzania says in Tanzania we say when someone is trying to fool. Lotus said, Pops is getting burnt out early tonight. Yeah, I am, Lotus. I tell you, I don't know what it is. Ever since we started tonight, I'm not reading the words right. I'm getting ahead of myself or something. I don't know what it is. It might be what it is, Lotus. It might be. It gets worse when I get tired. That's probably what it is. But I apologize. Like I said, I do try, but I get to missing words around sometimes. Matthew said, I should probably sign out of this hospital and go racing tomorrow. That's exactly what you should do, Matthew. If I was you, that's what I would do. I'd just sign my ass out and go. Next time I had a wreck or anything, I wouldn't even tell them. If they said they would take me to the hospital, I'd just tell them to take me home. I'd get out of the ambulance and just have somebody take me home. I wouldn't even waste the time to go to the hospital. Boggy says, to be straightforward, I'm a very nice person and very tolerable unless I don't like you or you're my sister. So when I say something offensive, it's usually towards trolls. Tendinese says, wear your magic aluminum full hat. I ought to put it on, see if that helped any. But it's like I'm not even seeing straight on the words. I don't know. I might should have passed up on this one. I didn't feel bad. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Rumble says, I ate chicken yesterday night. After about 2 months of vegetarian stuff, feels weird in tummy. It's getting to morning time and I hear the rooster crowing. Adam said, so my oldest daughter had a procedure today to see if she has cancer. So far, it has come back good. Awesome, Adam. I hope everything comes out good. Please keep us informed. We'll all be praying. Lotus, no worries, man. You worked how many hours before coming here? Totally understandable to be tired. Tananita says, Boggy, are you addressing that to me? I think he was just talking about it earlier when y'all were talking. He had to leave and get his kids some water. I think he was just trying to tell you that he's not meaning negative towards anybody unless it's a troll. Then he'll cut loose on some trolls now. Sometimes when we're in here, trolls come in and they won't delete them. They'll just give them all hell. Sometimes it gets funny. Rumble says, Adam, oh, that's good news. Prayers. Boggy says, yeah, my apologies for butchering your name. That's the reason I say Tanzania, Boggy. I got that down pat. I keep going with it. Jane says, prayers. Adam, Tanzania says, I'll be straightforward to mate, but thanks for your honesty. Derek said, what's up? Just got off work. We'll be listening in. Thank you. Appreciate it. Who am I talking to here? Do I know him? Let's see, where am I at here? Carlos said, Tanzania, yes, you are right. Can be filled with sweet as well as custard. Jane said, hi, Derek. Tanzania said, Boggy, what is your Instagram? Adam said, it's been a rough month for sure, but the stress release today is so much needed. Yes. Derek said, hello. That's a different one. Derek said hello. That's like I said, it looks like different from the one up there, but thank you. Tenderness said, I'm a big boys, but mostly sweet as per original recipe. Buggy says, don't have it. Sorry. Matthew says, you have to go if they tell you to. Adam says, Tanzania, I subbed your channel. Lotus says, run for them, Matt. Matt says, and I can't just sign out either. It has to be go through the track. Go to the track also. Carlos says, they are a Southern Italian sweet. Brett says, I never met them. I think they're a little bit older than me, Brett. Let's see. Lotus says, tell them you ain't going back to the hospital prison. Matthew said, Lotus, no. Tennessee said, okay, Boggy, just wanted to show you my fishing boat and fish I caught a few weeks ago. Yes, big boys, you're originally from Sicily. So Lotus says, they got you, man. Jane said, Matthew, you can refuse treatment at any point. When you are getting medical treatment, you can refuse it. Adam says, Matthew, I called the hospital and nurse Ratchet is on her way in. Buggy says, have one of my friends relay it to me. Oh. I got behind. Buggy says, like I'm refusing Tylenol. Then he said, guys, it's late over here, 102. I'm going to sleep. All right, Tanzania, thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. Lotus Jane, the track won't let him race anymore if he refuses. Tanzania says, all best and good night, guys. See ya. Thank you for stopping in. Sleep well. Adam said, Tanzania, take care. Matthew says, I'll give her hell. Jane said, Boggy, you can't refuse Tylenol, and we can't refuse to let you whine. We can refuse to let you whine. Boggy said, see ya. Jane said, take care, Tanzania. Matthew says, yeah, Jane, if I refuse treatment, I can't race anymore. Boggy said, that's mean. I doubt like Tylenol. Rumple says, do you watch SNL Pops? That's a random question, Rumple. I don't even know what SNL is. I don't watch a lot of anything. So I would say no, because I don't know what SNL is. Adam says, Tanzania, you have some good EDM stuff on your channel. James, I can't believe the track is letting you continue to race with your current injuries. Matthew says, they like me, I guess. Lotus said, Saturday Night Live, SNL. Oh, no, I don't. I thought that went off. That ain't on no more, is it? Saturday Night Live. I didn't know it was even still on. No, I don't watch it. Boggy says, I can't believe people actually destroy cars. As many as you fix? Lotus says, it is still on. Wow, I did not know that. I am behind times. Adam says, guys, I have to get going. See you, Adam. Thanks for stopping in, and I'm glad to hear the news, buddy. Matthew said, yes, we do. Buggy. Lotus says, I don't watch it anymore, but it is. James said, SNL, too late for us old people. Rumble said, Greek spot, later. Matthew said, and Jane, I raced the other night, and that's how I bent a pin. Jane said, take care, Adam. Mike said, Saturday Night Live sucks. How has it been any good since the Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd was on there? Matthew said, bye, Adam. Lotus said, I bet that hurts, Matt. Rumble said, SNL is still on. It's not as good, but some parts are good. Matthew said, yeah, Lotus, you guessed it. Matthew said, it's not fun. I have a big roll. It's a pretty good sized roll of bubble wrap. I think I need to get it from Matthew, and wrap him up in it. Maybe that'll help him out when he's in that demolition derbies. Maybe all that bubble wrap will keep him from getting hurt. Boggy says, no offense to Matthew, but I severely hate the damn sport. And I think that it's a good way to waste good rescue projects. Rumble said, hey, SNL joke swap is pretty good. Some skills like Uncle Willie is hilarious. Lotus says, I have a pin in my thumb. I feel for you. Matthew said, no thanks, I'm good. Lotus says, hitting it on stuff is about the worst pain imaginable. Matthew says, Boggy, no, it's a fun way to get hurt. I'll pass. Matthew said, yeah, Lotus. Boggy said, it's a dumb way to die. Lotus said, it gets better with time, but not much. Matthew says, you race next season, Randy? No, I may wake up dead. I'm not doing that. Now I'll do some burnouts and I'll go down the drag strip, but I'm not. I used to think I'd like to, and be honest with you, right up to the time I got this channel, I thought it'd be pretty cool. But as much as you've got hurt in it, and you're might as well consider to be an expert, no, I don't think I want nothing to do with it. James said, Matthew, when you're 50, you're going to kick yourself for the decisions you're making. Matthew says, I love racing. Matthew says, oh, come on, Randy, it's fun. I have never been in the hospital. I've never had a broken bone. And I'm not starting, no, that my luck would end. No. Rumble said, Jane, that's my daily wake up ritual. Yeah, kicking yourself for doing what you done in your 20s and 30s. Others said he ain't going to make it 250 the rate. Yeah, I give him 27. Exactly. Jane said, "Hello, Rumble, you're kicking yourself." Matthew says, I got to go. All right, Matthew, be safe, buddy. Good luck to you. Lowe's said, take it easy, Matt. Rumble said, Jane, kind of, probably, yep. Jane said, bye, Matt. Matthew said, more like give my nerves hell again. Lotus said, I'm going to run too, guys. Dinner be a calling. All right, Lotus. Thanks for stopping in, buddy. Heck, I'm thinking about calling myself. I'm tired. Rump said, Lotus, later. And to be honest with you, it is working on my eyes just a little bit. Carlos said later, Lotus. Lotus said later, guys. I'm out. Rumble said barbecue tomorrow or on Sunday, Pops. I'm hoping that we do the Sunday morning breakfast thing. We haven't done it in a while, but Randy is able to drive. Unfortunately, he just sent me a message just a minute ago that Madison's vehicle, the starter went out, so it looks like we're going to be putting the starter on. Hold on a second, everybody. Sorry, everybody. Somebody was trading out kids again. Let's see. Let's see. Like I said, Rumpel, I'm hoping that we do the Sunday morning breakfast thing. I hope, but it sounds like we're going to be putting a starter on a Tahoe tomorrow. We'll have to see. I may have to go get the Tahoe. But anyway, let's see. Like you said, see you, Clay. Take it easy, brother. Jane says, let me look into my crystal ball. I see a truck. Let's see. Jane said, it has a trailer behind it. Rumple's laughing. Jane says, loading up a vehicle to be delivered to MVP. Boggy says, wait a minute, which I thought you babysit Jesus. How are you a witch? Jane says, we had a tanker overturned up here on 75 yesterday afternoon and rerouted through town. Jane said, then another semi took out a power line. Jane said, took 10 hours to open highway. It was a mess. I bet so. Rumble says, I can top that. Our fighter jet crashed in Dubai Air Show going high G maneuvers. Oh man. I hate that. Hebert says, do you wear some trousers? I got pants on. I mean, good Lord. What kind of question is that? Buggy says, oh, only trolling. Love you, Jane. Let's see what Hebert, is that Herbert? Herbert? Oh. Oh, I see. Okay, you got me some trousers. Let's see. James said, recently, Rumble, did they hurt anyone else? Buggy says, no, he's wearing those thongs and a bikini top. There you go. You tell him, Buggy, I'm so mad I can't. James says, love you, Buggy. And for $20, I'll stand up and dance around. We'll make this this live interesting. Buggy's laughing. Rumble said, Jane, yesterday only the pilot, he took it away from spectators. Well, I'm glad that he took it away from spectators, but I hate he got caught up in it. Jay says, does Hebert walk with the wiggles? Wiggle. Don't tempt old man. That's right, Buggy. Sugar boom boom. I'll show my trousers for $20. Throw it on the screen and I'll show it up good. Rome said, yep, he died. Rest in peace. I hate that, but like I said, at least he did save lives by taking it away from everybody. Jane said, Lord Buggy, be throwing up a $20 bill. I was going to say, I know Jane won't. Jane said, I'm not doing that. YouTube would get a certain amount of that. Buggy laughing. Shoot, I might jump up there and make that thing clap. Pat, 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 pat. $20 is $20. Show me the money. I better stop. Somebody be thinking I'm serious. Jane says it's always tragic when that happens, but when there are kids watching. Change the subject. Buggy said, my bad, I missed my bunnies. Rumble says, what y'all talking about, Pops? This is illegal territory for me. Oh, my innocent. Buggy said, what we talking about here? James said, oh, you kissed him goodbye when you took on kids. Yeah. I was waiting for Jane. Ah, there it is. Jane said, poor Rumble, he's not innocent anymore. Damn it, Buggy said, damn it, don't remind me. Jane, Rumble said, Jane. Jane says, there it is. You'll have to have closet bunny, closet bunny, closet bunnies, close something, closet bunnies. Oh man, I tell you what, about ready to go count some sheep. I'm telling you what, we down to 9 people, 23. I tell you what, that's probably, let's see, Robin said, be right back, Buggy said, no, I'll have fun in the car Saturdays. Brent said, counting electric sheep. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to count a few here in a minute. James said, it's okay, Pops. It's Friday night. Yeah, I'm probably fixing to call it. We ain't got a lot of people in here. I mean, we do have some good people, don't get me wrong, but let me flip this around. Hate to leave it. Rumple be wanting to come back in a minute, wonder where we went. Buggy said, I didn't say you could go. We got 23, we ain't got but 9 people in here, 23 likes, 723. Listen, Jane, turn in early. You don't need Buggy's permission. He's a brat. I believe I will. So we have a schedule on the tournament to rat. I don't think Olivia wanting to come in here lately. I don't know. I might have made her mad or something. I don't know. But I'm going to turn in. I hate to do it, and I might just kind of take me a quick nap because if Mike said he's got a premiere at 9, I'd kind of like to be in there for him on that. She's sick. Tell her I hope she gets to feeling better, Buggy. But I might just try to rest my eyes for a little bit and then maybe check in on Daryl's premiere and Mike's premiere. But anyway, listen, y'all have a good day, good night whenever you're watching this. I appreciate everybody coming in. And again, sorry for, I guess I am a little tired than I thought, but y'all have a good night, good day whenever you're watching this. And thank y'all. Remember, keep it silly. See ya. Oh, that's right. Got to get a hippopotamus for Christmas.